The Greatest Hits is a brand new film that just released today from Searchlight Pictures on Hulu. And it follows the story of Harriet, who discovers that certain songs can transport her back in time. While she relives the past through romantic memories with her former boyfriend, her time traveling interferes with a blossoming new love interest in the present. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, the only reason I really watched this movie was because of David Corenswet, and because obviously he's been cast as Superman in James Gunn's upcoming Superman movie, and I haven't seen any of David Corenswet's other previous work, so I wanted to check it out mainly for that purpose. But the synopsis itself sounded very interesting to me. I was like, all right, David Corenswet, cool. It's a rom-com, great. There's romance, there's music. I'm gonna love this. But I would be lying if I said I wasn't concerned going into this, because I love a good rom-com. But then it had this whole time travel thing, and I started getting concerned because I was like, I really don't want a sci-fi element to this. I want to just keep this basic and grounded. And I'm very happy to say that for the most part, this movie, the time travel is an element of the film, but it's played out very nicely because basically Harriet, after, and this isn't a spoiler because I think it's in the trailer and it's what the whole movie is about. Basically, Harriet, she's in this long relationship with this guy named Max, played by David Corenswet, and they are in a car accident together and he dies. She ends up in a coma for a couple weeks, and then she comes out of it with, I guess you could say, basically kind of a superpower, for that whenever she hears certain songs, it takes her back in time to when she first heard that song with Max. So it's a movie about grief and moving on and the risk of love, because really that's what love is. Love really truly is a risk, because you put your everything into love, but it can stab you in the back and it can hurt you just as much as it can make you happy. There's some great quotes in this film. Like there's one that's talking about how, I don't remember what language it was, but there's another language where there's one word for love and suffering. There's one word that means both of those, because if you think about it, they do kind of have the same meaning, but take advantage of the fact that in our English language, those are two different words. There's some other great stuff in here, like a song can take you back in time. And that's true in real life, but obviously very, very literal in this movie. But I love that. And another, I think my favorite quote of this film is, "Live your dash." Because Harriet, she goes to this support group of people that are grieving, and the instructor, her husband died a couple years ago, and he always told her, "Live your dash." And she talks about how on his headstone it says the year he was born and the year he died, and right in between that is the dash. So live your dash. I love that. I thought that was absolutely beautiful, and I do really love this because it's true. Like, you hear a song and it will make you think of certain memories. It will truly take you back in time. So I love I just love that whole idea of that being the center of this film. I thought that was really beautiful. And this whole romance is really interesting as well, because I went into this thinking like, oh, David Corenswet, because he's the actor in this that I actually know, he's going to be the one that I'm going to be rooting for, because it is in a way almost kind of like a love triangle, because you have her going back to the past and reliving these memories with her boyfriend, her now ex-boyfriend, her now dead boyfriend, played by David Corenswet, and she is trying to find that one record, that one song that will take her back to that moment where she can prevent his death. So she is hell-bent on doing this. It's 2 years after his death and she is still trying to do this, but then present day she meets this new guy and falls in love with him. And so in a way it is like a love triangle, but I love that it's, oftentimes in movies and series when there's a love triangle, as a fan, as an audience member, you're going to have a certain person that you're rooting for, but you don't have that here. It's very similar to one of the reasons people loved Past Lives, a film from last year, 2023, is because you had kind of a love triangle going on there as well. But the new boyfriend in that situation, it was very hard to hate him. Like, you can't hate him because he's just such a nice guy. And it's the same thing here. David, our guy that we meet present day, he is just so sweet and so romantic and so understanding of Harriet that you can't you can't be mad at him. You can't really, like, I'm not really rooting for either team here. And because now it's just I'm rooting for love and what can truly bring happiness, because that's the truth of it all. I mean, Max died, so you can't spend your time dwelling on the past and trying to change the past to make a better future, because you don't know what's going to happen. And you need to just live your life. And especially when you have somebody new that comes into your life like this, it's beautiful. I thought that was absolutely beautiful. The acting, the performances were great. The soundtrack was really good. There was one song that they played towards the end that was, oh, loved it. It was from the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, so I loved that. The only thing is, so here's the thing. I really like this movie for the most part. I do, after finishing it, have sort of mixed feelings, because I loved this movie until we got to the end. Because I feel like there was this scene where I thought it was going to be the final scene of the movie. I was like, oh, this is great. I love this movie. And then it kept going. And like I said, the time travel was very tame throughout most of the movie. It's very different time travel rules. It's not really even time travel. It is very much like just reliving memories. But at the end, let's just say they go hard with the time travel, and this ending, just a choice that is made. It felt so unnecessary and overcomplicated for absolutely no reason, when you could have just had the good ending there. I mean, the final scene is good, and I like that, how things kind of come full circle and all that, and there's some really cool connections and full circle moments in here, but I don't know, the ending was just kind of pointless. Like, it could have ended a good, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes earlier, for sure. But I still highly recommend you check this out. Obviously, this is my non-spoiler review, so if you have seen the movie and you want to talk spoilers, we can do that in the comments below. Just make sure you mark your comments as spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I highly recommend checking it out. Again, it is on Hulu. It's a good little film. It's only like an hour and a half, but I really enjoyed it, again, except for that ending. But still, beautiful story about grief, pain, love, loss. Obviously makes me think of that great iconic quote from WandaVision, where Vision was like, what is grief if not love persevering? Because that's really what grief is. It's that love living on. Oh, beautiful. Really enjoyed this movie. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What did you think about the greatest hits? And thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I keep up to date on everything that goes on in the movie life.